Hey there, how are you behind the times in supersizing and growing your business? Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here, and our idiom, our expression today is behind the times. This is one of those idioms and expressions that's been around. It was very popular in the 16th to the 18th century, where people call it behindhand. Now, I've never heard that because, of course, I wasn't alive in the 16th to 18th century. And in the 19th century, Dickens, actually in 1846, used it by saying, I'm old-fashioned and behind the time. In, I think it was the Dombey and Sons or something to that effect. Anyway, Dickens wrote about it, and that, of course, helped it to catch on and mean to be old-fashioned, not having knowledge or not showing knowledge or sharing knowledge of current ideas or styles, or to be outdated or old-fashioned. Kind of like my hair from the 1980s, right? I know it's out of style. I've tried different things, but for me, it's in my comfort zone. So as long as I feel comfortable, I will wear my hair old-fashioned as in the 1980s. So I was having a conversation with one of my coaching students yesterday. Yep, I talk to my coaching and consulting folks on weekends as well as during the week. Whenever they need me, I try to be available. And we were having a discussion about his frustration with his business partner. And he happens to be in the real estate industry, which if you've ever been in that industry, you know how frustrating and fun and exciting and exhilarating and the whole spectrum of emotions it can be. And it reminded me of this particular idiom or expression, behind the times. We can be actually old-fashioned and not up to date in some of the ways we're dealing with our business. For example, we can be behind in technology. We can be behind in processes and systems that other players in our industry are using. We can be behind in our structure or in our strategies that we're using and applying to our business and our industry. But we can also be behind in our thinking and our belief system and operating off of beliefs that are actually holding us back and harming us. How do I know? Because this was a huge one for me a couple of decades ago. I was behind the times in my thinking in that I was shoulding myself to death, literally. I always felt like I should be doing something different, or I should be further along, or I should be making different decisions or choices, or I should be doing this, or I should be doing that. And that my business should be growing faster and all these things. And I was having a similar conversation with this young man yesterday. He was upset about a bunch of real estate deals his business partner wasn't. His business partner is much more risk adverse than he is, and much more cautious and much more conservative and much more afraid, literally afraid. And he was upset about the deals that he hadn't done. And I could so relate, because I could hear the frustration in his voice, and even said, I'm super duper frustrated. And I'm like, I can hear that you're frustrated, because he thinks that all of those deals should have been done. Well, if they should have been done, I tried to help him to understand that they would have been done. But for some reason, these are part of his journey, part of his learning experience in terms of growing and building and supersizing his business, his empire, what it is that he's here to do on the planet. So in addition to being behind the times, literally being old-fashioned, like my hair, or behind with respect to technology, I admit I haven't done anything with artificial intelligence with respect to my life and my business. Because it's the leading edge of things, right? It's the latest and greatest technology, and it's one of those things I'm aware of, yet I have not figured out how or if or when or why I would incorporate that into my business. Yet there's other areas where I am on the leading edge of business with respect to building and growing my personal business. But it just reminded me that not only can it be old-fashioned in behind the times in what we're actually looking at and doing and applying in our business, but we can be behind the times in our thinking. And the biggest, most impactful thing about that is that our business will only grow as fast as we are willing to grow. And so part of what we need to do is embrace the experiences that we're having and understand how they are forging us and making us the person we need to be in order to handle that bigger business, to handle those number of transactions, to handle that amount of volume coming through our business. And you know, this person may very well outgrow, I guarantee this person is going to outgrow their business partner and will move on in different directions because it's a lot easier to move on and create the life you want than it is to expect someone else who's already set in their ways to change and be different. And so that was the gist of our discussion, but it really reminded me of myself 20 years ago and how frustration can actually destroy you and your business, thinking you should be doing something different or you should have done something already. It's more should have done something already than should be doing things. You know, we all think we should be doing things, but it's the being frustrated where you are right now because you think that you should be somewhere different. That's the destructive part of feeling behind the times. Love to know your experience with this particular idiom or expression. Share in the comments below. Any questions, hit me up. Otherwise, I will be with you tomorrow with another time-related idiom. What does it mean? Where does it come from? How might you use it or think about it in your business and maybe even in your life? Have an amazing day, and I'll be with you tomorrow.